President Biden's announcement for all nursing home staff to be vaccinated has caused some to leave. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with how this is impacting nursing homes in southeast Kansas.
The Biden administration defends its immigration policies, even as it reveals recently thousands of migrants were released into the U.S. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington. More on the growing problem for the administration coming up.
The four states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. Nursing home shortages impact a local facility. The American Health Care Association says it's a problem for almost half of nursing homes in the country because of vaccine requirements. KOM's Bronte Sorotsky tells us how this has affected medical lodges employees throughout southeast Kansas in tonight's Making It Work report.
On August 18th, President Biden announced that his administration will require all nursing home staff to vaccinate against COVID-19. Following this announcement, medical lodges announced almost a week later that employees providing services directly to residents must be fully vaccinated. For employees who aren't, like Michael Clore, they're now being suspended.
It's a 2-week suspension without pay due to the fact that I did not get the vaccine by the required date of September 17th.
And Clore isn't the only employee who's been suspended. Those unvaccinated can no longer enter the building, meaning less staff to take care of residents. Medical Lodges was already facing a workforce shortage due to the conditions workers faced during the pandemic. In a statement from the nursing home, they tell us they did establish a timeline for employees, contractors, and vendors who provide services directly to residents and clients to be fully vaccinated against COVID-19. While a few employees decided to leave their employment, Medical Lodges Girard was challenged to attract and hire employees well before the vaccination requirement. But unvaccinated employees on leave say they believe the requirement has an impact on the shortage and ultimately the care of their residents.
It will not only have an effect on the residents that are being cared for, it also is the stress of the people that have had the COVID shot that are still working there, because they're going to have to work longer hours. They're going to work with a shortage of nurses, of CNAs, of even housekeeping.
Clore said he was fine with wearing extra protection as an option to remain unvaccinated.
There was a big push for the vaccine to begin with. You get the vaccine, you don't have to wear full PPE. If you don't get the vaccine, we're going to make you wear the full PPE.
But now that option is gone, and with nursing homes across the country already facing staffing shortages, this requirement could make things harder. In southeast Kansas, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Medical lodges added to their statement that they're grateful to their employees for demonstrating their mission to serve, and that being vaccinated is the best weapon against COVID-19. U.S. Senator Roger Marshall, that is, from Kansas, introduces a bill that would prevent dishonorable discharges for a service member who refuses a COVID-19 vaccine. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin announced the vaccine requirements back in August. Under the bill, service members who refuse to get vaccinated could still face discharge, just not dishonorable. That distinction is an important one. U.S. military members who are dishonorably discharged face losing certain rights normally afforded to service members, like gun ownership, access to the GI Bill, VA home loans, VA medical benefits, military funeral honors, and re-enlistment in another military branch.
Half of those people that have not been vaccinated are already immune from the virus. So we need to acknowledge natural immunity, and the folks then that still test negative for antibodies sit down with their doctor, with the healthcare people, and talk about the pros and cons of the vaccination.
The bill is co-sponsored by Oklahoma Senator James Langford and other senators. Similar legislation passed through the House Armed Services Committee as an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act. Meteorologist Nick Kelly joining us now. First look at the forecast. Beautiful weekend, beautiful Monday.
Yeah, even though it was a bit on the warm side, Jordan, we kept things nice and quiet with partly to mostly sunny skies passing through all day. Numbers, officially as I see before you, 66 this morning. and quite a jump to 87 degrees this afternoon because we still had dry air in place at the surface. We still had a good southerly wind throughout the day. That's lightening up for the evening ahead of us, thankfully. Overnight, I should say. But this is what I'm watching. Our next storm system in the upper levels brewing across parts of the desert southwest. As far as temperatures sit right now, upper 60s to about the mid 70s, so temperatures are still trending downward, but I think we'll only drop off to about 64 degrees as we go into the morning. At least Jordan, we're quiet for tomorrow with highs back near 88, but rain chances not too far off, and rain chances that we could certainly use. We'll detail that here in a bit.
All right, Nick Kelly, thank you so much. As always, it's a big day for COVID vaccine mandates. All healthcare workers in New York, in particular New York State, must get their shots or possibly lose their jobs. Fox News correspondent Alex Hogan has more from New York City.
President Biden making a big push for vaccine boosters. The president getting his third Pfizer shot on Monday.
Please do the right thing. Please get the shots, and it can save your life.
But there's still lingering confusion about who should get the boosters, with the CDC saying it's up to individuals to decide.
We made it possible for people to be eligible, but they really have to identify their own individual risk and their own individual benefit. And I recognize that this is confusing.
Meanwhile, we're still averaging more than 114,000 new COVID cases every day in the U.S., and officials are hoping vaccine mandates will help bring those numbers down. That plan getting a big test on Monday as a statewide mandate for healthcare workers goes into effect here in New York. Unlike previous rules, employees cannot opt out by showing a negative test. They have to get their shots or risk getting fired.
We're trying to protect kids. We're trying to protect families. We're trying to protect working people.
It's a terrible situation, and it's supposed to be, happening in the name of health, and it's just not going to raise health at all.
Some healthcare systems say they'll face potentially dangerous staffing shortages when they begin enforcing the mandate. So Governor Kathy Hochul says she's considering bringing out-of-state workers and medically trained members of the National Guard to help fill the gap. Another vaccine mandate for school employees was set to take place today, but was blocked by a federal judge. In New York, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
Immigration remains at the forefront of the administration's list of issues. The DHS secretary has acknowledged thousands of migrants have been released into the U.S. as numbers are at record highs. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard has more now from Washington.
Joe Biden, help us. We're going to die.
The Biden administration continues to deal with fallout from a growing immigration problem. Republicans say the president's policies are allowing for a dangerous situation for border agents and a free flow of migrants into the U.S.
Joe Biden hasn't been to the border at all, and Kamala Harris barely touched ground.
If Republicans are eager to have a conversation about comprehensive immigration reform, we're happy to have that conversation. We haven't seen any willingness or appetite to do that. All we've seen is speeches and talking points.
Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas admitting thousands of migrants that were camping under a bridge in Del Rio, Texas, were released into the U.S. with only notices to report.
Are we talking about a total of 12,000, or could it be even higher?
It could be even higher.
We're counting on them to show up as some ICE office in the future or immigration court on their own free will. And the data simply says they're not going to do it.
According to Customs and Border Protection, the number of migrant encounters in August was almost 209,000. Currently in southern Mexico, thousands of more migrants are camping in hopes of eventually making it to the U.S.
The destination of all the people Haitian is in United States.
If Congress is able to pass the $1 trillion infrastructure bill, it includes $3.5 billion to update dozens of ports of entry along the Canada and Mexico borders. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Jack Curley served in the U.S. Army from 1942 to 70. Native of Fort Scott, Kansas, Curley was stationed in Germany, also Vietnam. He earned 2 Bronze Stars, also a Purple Heart. We are proud to thank Sergeant First Class Jack Curley. He's tonight's four-state hero. Nick Kelly's next with a complete look at the forecast. And a bit later, Pittsburgh's soccer team looking to get back in the win column today against Carl Junction.
We kept things pretty quiet throughout the course of the day. Not a bad way to start this work week out, but Then again, it was a bit on the warm side. Wish Mother Nature would get the hint that it's fall now. We don't need it to feel like late summer anymore. Still, can't deny how nice the sky looked throughout the course of the day. Partly to mostly sunny skies up top. That's the same type of sky that sent us into the upper 80s. Yesterday, we dropped back at least into the mid 60s this morning. Most spots around 66, 67 degrees, and topping out at around 87 degrees for the afternoon high today. We kept things quiet all afternoon and evening long. And just to make doubly sure, nothing on the radar network right now. This is going to stay quiet for tomorrow before those of you wanting more rain chances. This will start to get a workout again as we go into Wednesday. In the meantime, though, 7th range line looking about as quiet as can be. Once again, 73 degrees with a south breeze at 5. And the humidity, it's picking back up at about 59%, but still really comfy for any late night errands you have to do and run around as we go into the rest of our Monday night. Upper 60s are starting to pop up on the board, but a lot of us are in the lower to middle 70s still. But these numbers have been trending downward after we had quite a blustery day with sustained winds out of the south and even southwest at times between 10 to 20 miles per hour. And that's not even including the gusts near 30 miles per hour. But look at how calmer the breeze is. We'll keep it light out of the south at 5 to 10 for tonight and tomorrow. That's going to lead us to a mild start in the morning before we head into another warm afternoon ahead of us. I am watching cloud cover working in from western and central parts of Oklahoma, though that will continue to rotate in as we go into tomorrow morning, but nothing immediately threatening at the surface. I am watching, however, this cold front working through the Pacific Northwest. That will come into play by the weekend. In the short term, though, we head upstairs where we find ourselves not only on the warmer side of the jet once again. I'm also keeping an eye on this upper low working across the desert southwest. Still spawning rain and storms down that way, but that's what's poised to bring rain chances back in starting on Wednesday. In the meantime, though, quiet as can be. Cloud cover working in by morning, sure, but we'll still hold on to generally partly sunny skies throughout the day tomorrow. The future track's kind of overdoing temperatures just a little bit, but a south breeze of 5 to 10. Thankfully, it won't be quite windy tomorrow. 64 in the morning, 83 by noon. I think afternoon highs will top out right around 88 degrees. We stay quiet Tuesday night going into Wednesday morning, but as that upper low in the southwest decides to start rolling in, we'll see that result in scattered thunderstorms popping up. And these are thunderstorm chances with this active jet stream setup that'll continue to keep rain chances around Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and even as we head into Sunday. But with the way things are looking, hopefully this is rain chances that we can certainly pick up on and take advantage of. We need the rain. So far, early projections show anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to 2 inches of rain in total by the time the rain chances start to clear out on Sunday. So it's kind of a bummer that we have to deal with rain chances for the weekend, Jordan, but it's going to help us out with temperatures. We'll go 88 tomorrow, 84 on Wednesday, near 80 Thursday and Friday, and these rain chances will ultimately take us back into the 70s early next week for highs.
All right, Nick Hill, let me see a little bit. Thank you so much. A 5.8 magnitude earthquake today struck the Greek island of Crete, killing one man, injuring 9 people. Authorities report extensive damage, mostly in those older buildings. Schools are closed for the day. Greek fire services have mobilized forces in that region. Coming up, a big day in D.C.
President Biden's domestic agenda faces a make-or-break moment this week as Congress tackles other critical deadlines. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with the latest details on the high-stakes negotiations taking place on Capitol Hill.
Tuesday morning.
I do.
Jurors today found R&B superstar R. Kelly guilty of racketeering and sex trafficking. The charges were based on an argument that the entourage of managers and aides who helped the singer meet girls and keep them obedient and quiet amounted to a criminal enterprise. Sentencing is set for May. Kelly also pleaded not guilty to sex-related charges in Illinois, Minnesota. Trial dates in those cases have not yet been set. Congress facing a big week as the House and Senate move toward votes on legislation addressing government funding, the debt limit, and President Biden's domestic agenda. Fox's Madeline Rivera is in D.C. with the latest details on the high-stakes talks.
It's crunch time for Democrats, and the week is starting off with a delay. A vote on the $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill, originally set for Monday, is postponed until Thursday to give moderate and progressive groups of the party more time to come together on a $3.5 trillion spending package. And negotiations are at a fever pitch.
I can't support any reconciliation package that doesn't lower taxes here in my district by reinstating the state and local tax deduction.
The game of chicken intensifying on Capitol Hill as some progressives say they won't vote on the infrastructure bill until the larger package with progressive priorities passes. Now a growing group of Republicans are on the fence about voting for infrastructure after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi linked the two pieces of legislation more closely together.
It's being held hostage for a separate bill that the majority of the country does not want. It's not acceptable.
President Biden's domestic agenda isn't the only thing hanging in the balance.
We got three things to do: the debt ceiling, the continuing resolution, and the two pieces of legislation. If we do that, the country's going to be in great shape.
Democrats have tied an increase to the debt limit in a bill that funds the government until December. But Senate Republicans have voiced their opposition, saying Democrats should lift the debt ceiling alone.
They want to add another $5 trillion just this week. If they want to raise the debt ceiling, they have the power to do it.
The federal government runs out of funding on Thursday. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
And tonight, Republican senators blocked a bill to keep the U.S. government funded, but Democrats say they're going to try again this week. Next, the happiest place on earth turning into a spot for a protest and debate.
Nominate your four-state hero.
Facebook is pausing its Instagram for Kids plans. The company says it's reevaluating the app for a later date to address concerns with parents, experts, policymakers, and regulators. The head of Instagram writing this morning, quote, "It was never meant for younger kids, but for tweens. It will require parental permission to join. It won't have ads, and it will have age-appropriate content and features." Facebook and Instagram have been under pressure to provide more transparency into their platforms. This after the Wall Street Journal suggested Facebook knew Instagram had a harmful effect on teenage girls. Group of employees in Florida calling on Disney to end its COVID-19 vaccine mandate on employees. On Sunday, the workers held a rally, but as Fox's Dave Polisky tells us, it wasn't just Disney employees taking part in this rally.
The rally has made its way to the front door of Disney World. You can see many of the people here in the crowd are employees, but they're also joined by others in the community who stand with their message of choice.
Disney, you don't want us to keep doing this.
Honks of approval and cheers of support for Walt Disney World employees calling on their employer to repeal their vaccine mandate on staff.
I don't think anybody should force any person, man or woman, and me being a woman especially, to tell me what I have to do to my body.
The rally, organized by Disney employees, received support from a number of first responders and healthcare professionals also fighting vaccine mandates in their workplace.
It shows solidarity, and it tells us the real issue is it's not about a career or what you did in your life. It's about freedom of choice.
Walt Disney World's vaccine mandate requires employees to show proof of a vaccine by October 22nd or be fired. They can opt out for medical or religious reasons. Disney didn't issue a statement about the protest, but they've said getting vaccinated is the best approach to reducing the spread of COVID-19. They also say that a majority of their staff have been vaccinated.
We didn't ask for this vaccine mandate, but we're dealing with it. We're facing it head on and negotiating the best agreement that protects as many people as possible.
Organizers of the rally say they will continue to hold these until Disney decides to change its policy or not. In Orlando, Dave Puglisi, Fox 35 News.
All right, so what are some things that would make you end a date as quick as you can? Some examples when we come back. All right, so listen up. If you're single and you want to land a second date, you better take a second and brush up on those manners. A new OnePoll survey of 2,000 Americans says 3 out of 5 people would end a date or break up with someone if the partner had bad eating habits. 42% said they'd end a date if their partner chewed with their mouth open. Half would bolt if someone dropped food on the floor and ate it. Generation Z was the most likely to be tolerant of bad table habits, and millennials were the most outspoken on food offenses, saying they'd ask people to stop. You know, just come on. This is not working for me or you. We're wasting each other's times. Let's just end it. God bless. See, here at Fox 14, we try to cover everything, including Dana and Vice. We're here for you. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Missouri officials are exploring the option of a test-to-stay policy for students across the state. I'm Chris Warner. We'll break down what that policy looks like right now and how local officials feel about it.
Also, it's almost October, a month set aside for breast cancer awareness.
Low prices, easy and interest-free finance.
The state of Missouri is considering a test-to-stay option for students who are close contacts of other students who test positive for COVID-19. KOM's Chris Warner explains what we know about policy so far and what local officials think.
According to Missouri's health director, the concept of test to stay would allow a student who is a close contact of another student who tests positive for COVID to remain in school so long as they receive negative COVID test results. While details of the policy are still being worked out, some local districts, including Joplin, don't think they'll need it.
I would be doubtful that we would, simply because of the burden on our school nurses that all that additional testing would require when we really haven't seen the school transfer that we thought we would anyway.
Dr. Moss says the district's current policy is actually less restrictive than the test-to-stay guidelines.
In that if a student was a direct contact of a positive case, they could return to school immediately, provided that they were fully masked during their quarantine time.
Moss says the district's COVID numbers are actually lower now than they were at the start of the school year. Moss adds the current policy, though, is fluid and could change if numbers change, and that could include adopting the future test-to-stay guidelines.
Yes, I think it is helpful because any tools that we have in our toolbox that we can choose from as circumstances change, having that flexibility is always a good thing.
Larry Bergner with the Newton County Health Department says current policies for schools in the county are like Joplin's and less restrictive.
In southwest Missouri, some of our jurisdictions, Newton County certainly being one of them, we allow contacts to continue to go to school anyway.
However, Bergner agrees with Moss that the test-to-stay guidelines could be helpful if COVID numbers should spike in the districts. In Joplin and Neosho, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
The test-to-stay policy is still being developed at the state level, and a timeline has not yet been set for when it could be rolled out. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and Freeman Health System is trying to help the efforts. Experts say 1 in 8 women are going to be diagnosed with breast cancer in her lifetime, and early detection of the disease can make a world of difference. A Freeman doctor and breast cancer patient today discuss the importance of regular screenings.
Have sort of awareness of any changes that you might have in your breast rather than feel like it's up to you to find your own breast cancer. That's what we're here for. And if you notice a change that lasts for a month or two, then that's something that you ought to bring to your doctor's attention, and then we would be happy to see you here.
Freeman is hosting several events throughout the month of October to raise awareness of breast cancer, including a purse raffle and free mammograms on the 15th. NEO in Miami, Oklahoma has announced a new program aimed at getting adults their high school diploma and a pathway into college. The aptly named Pathway to Degree program allows adults to earn their diplomas free online. They can then pursue an associate's degree at NEO. The BNSF Railway has closed part of US 400 in Cherokee to repair its crossing east of the US 400 and K7 junction. The closure began this morning. It's going to run through Wednesday. Traffic will need to detour on K7, K103, or US 69. If you have type O negative blood, there's a chance here to make a real big difference. The Community Blood Center of the Ozarks has issued an emergency appeal for type O blood. Reserves are down to less than a one-day supply, and the pandemic has limited opportunities to source blood from other areas of the country. You can donate at Community Blood Center locations, several of them, including one in Joplin. Labor shortages caused by the coronavirus pandemic are affecting the bottom line of one of the country's prime shippers of products. FedEx says its worker shortages are affecting its operations, and the tightened labor pool has had a $450 million effect on quarterly results. FedEx says it's short on truck drivers, package handlers, and other workers, and that means longer delivery times and higher costs as companies pass on those costs to consumers. FedEx Ground Network is rerouting about 600,000 packages a day, and its operation in Portland is only at 65% capacity. The worker shortages come even as FedEx is paying ground package handlers 16% more per hour than previous. A woman is in custody in California after officials say she started a massive wildfire in Northern California. Fox News national correspondent William Lajeunesse has more from Los Angeles.
Authorities arrested a 30-year-old woman accusing her of sparking the Fawn fire in Northern California. She is facing 9 years in prison after officials say she started the blaze while boiling bear urine to drink.
We have filed felony arson charges against her, not only for arson, but also for committing an arson during a state of emergency.
News of the arrest coming just days after PG&E, California's largest utility company, was charged with involuntary manslaughter after its equipment sparked a fire that killed 4 last year.
One of the primary reasons to charge a corporation criminally is a finding that illegal behavior is widespread, it's serious, it's offensive, and it's so persuasive that the only appropriate action is criminal charges.
The CEO of PG&E says the company denies the charge.
We've accepted CAL FIRE's determination, reached earlier this year, that a tree contacted our electric line and started the Zog fire. We accept that conclusion. But we did not commit a crime.
Meanwhile, firefighters are making progress in battling the Fawn fire. It started just north of Redding and already destroyed more than 40 homes and forced the evacuation of about 4,000. The massive wildfire now 50% contained, and CAL FIRE reports forward progress of the blaze has stopped. Officials did not say when evacuees will be able to return to their homes. California Governor Gavin Newsom has secured federal emergency funding, freeing up aid and resources for areas impacted by the Fawn fire. In Los Angeles, William Lajeunesse, Fox News.
A bit later, a new wow invention.
Scientists are taking wasted food and turning it into medical gear. I'm Marianne Rafferty with more on the process that's helping to reduce climate change and create environmentally friendly products. Coming up.
Kunkel Agency.
It was nice to keep things quiet as we got this new work week and school week underway. We had plenty of quiet skies with, granted, partly to mostly sunny skies filtering through, but indigo sky. This time lapse outside of Seneca, Missouri showed how the entire area looked throughout the course of the day. Unfortunately, Mother Nature brought some late summer heat back into the forecast here, but well, it's probably not fair to call it heat, but certainly quite warm though. Upper 80s yesterday, mid 60s this morning, and back to 87 degrees this afternoon. Thankfully though, that breeze has really lightened up, and with quiet skies still upstairs, we have seen the numbers drop off quite a bit actually. 73 and dropping the south breeze at 5. Hasn't pumped up any additional humidity yet, so it's not on the high side, sitting at 59%. Most of us are seeing lower 70s across a good portion of the region, but you saw that fresh update showing us some more upper 60s popping up from Pittsburgh, Lamar, Stockton, points north from there. We'll eventually join them and drop back into the mid 60s overnight, and we can thankfully do that now that the breeze has lightened up. Earlier today it was out of the south at 10 to 20 with gusts near 30 at times. Now it's really lightened up. Out of the south to 5 to 10. This light breeze will bring us back into the mid 60s while we, along with the rest of the 4-state region, keep quiet throughout the course of the night. You can see though cloud cover building across southwestern Kansas and central and western parts of Oklahoma, but it's not because of any incoming storm systems at the surface. Granted, we have the front part to the north, but this is not what I'm focused on. This cold front in the Pacific Northwest, that's what will come into play as we go into Thursday and certainly by this weekend. Upstairs, that's where I'm focused on more short-term features of interest. Not only are we on the warmer side of the jet again for tomorrow, this upper low spinning over New Mexico, that is what's going to change our weather up as we go into Wednesday. But until it gets here, at least some of that energy is going to bring some more cloud cover our way, but still I'll say partly cloudy skies. No rain to worry about as we get your Tuesday morning commute back to work and school started. By lunchtime, we'll be in the lower to middle 80s, and I expect with partly sunny skies. The feature track here is overdoing temperatures just a hair. It's got the general idea, though, with the light south breeze. We'll go from a mild start in the morning with lows near 64, quickly warming up again, 83 by noon, and topping out right around 88 degrees. We keep quiet for Tuesday night. Going into Wednesday morning, But once we go into Wednesday afternoon, that upper low is going to start to bring in better chances for showers and storms, a little more scattered than what the future track is suggesting. But at the jet stream setup, this upper wave passes on by, but with that front working in from the west at the surface and more upper level energy upstairs, look at these rain chances sticking with us Thursday, Friday, through the weekend, and then we're going to eventually dry out as we head into Monday of next week. So the bottom line here, the rain chances, expect them to pick back up by Wednesday, off and on all the way through Sunday, but it's rain chances we could certainly use. Earliest look at things show anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to up to 2 inches of rain. Again, we'll take those rain chances because not only do we need them, it'll give us a break from the upper 80s that we'll see tomorrow. 88 for Tuesday, 84 Wednesday, near 80 Thursday and Friday, Jordan, and dropping back into the mid to upper 70s by the end of the weekend and next Monday.
Good temperatures.
Yeah, we just got to get past a warm day tomorrow, then the temperatures look pretty good.
Nick Kelly, thank you. The loneliest sport takes advantage of COVID regulations for forced aloneness and sees phenomenal growth. The National Golf Foundation says more than 24.8 million people played golf in the U.S. in 2020. That's the largest net increase for the game in 17 years. And through July of this year, the number of rounds played was up more than 16% over 2020. Coming up in sports, Kansas City Royals are on the road for the last time this season. Also, the Pittsburgh Purple Dragons aiming to bounce back against Carl Junction Bulldogs today. Danny Terzer has the highlights and more next.
The Pittsburgh boys soccer team is 4-3 on the season, looking to bounce back today after a 1-0 loss to Fort Scott last week. Today, Pittsburgh hosts Carl Junction. 2 minutes into the game, Jacob Pellet up the line, lofts one from way far out over the keeper's head. Pittsburgh up 1-0. Then Kevin Mejia one-on-one with the keeper. He places it in the lower left corner. Mejia finds the back of the net again in the half. Bouncing ball here, he's able to settle it through traffic. He scores. A solid first half for the Purple Dragons. They go on to win 3-1. The Webb City Cardinals were shut out for the first time this season against Nixa last week. Cardinals looking to get offense going today against the Wyandotte Bears. Wyandotte gets on the board first, Lexi Morgan crossing home here. And then bases loaded, pitches way high. Carissa Pena scores off the walk. Still in the first inning, Cardinals defense stops that Bears momentum. They turn a nice double play here. First, the out at first, then they get her at home, but Wyandotte hangs on, topping Webb City 3-0. The Kansas City Royals in action today, playing a makeup game. It's the Royals' last game of the season, last road game. In Cleveland today, before coming home for 3 more against the Indians. In his first at bat, Perez goes down the line. That is fair. It's good for a double, and Nicky Lopez scores. 1-0 Kansas City. A game tied at 3, Ahmed Rosario puts the Indians out in front with the solo home run. Royals will trail the rest of the game. Gotta see this though, Kyle Zimmer pitching to his brother Bradley. Bradley gets a home run off him. Looks like he's got some bragging rights now. Indians win this one 8-3. It's been a bumpy road for the Kansas City Chiefs this season. Every one of their games has been down to the wire. Kansas City, though, has lost 2 in a row now after falling to the Chargers on Sunday. Turnovers were a big problem for the Chiefs in Week 3. They gave the ball away 4 times. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes says things are looking a little dim right now, but it's too early to panic. In 2019, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl despite back-to-back losses in Weeks 5 and 6.
Loss to a division opponent at home, it's not usually a good thing. We haven't done a lot of that in my time here. So it's just how you respond. I mean, we got a long season ahead of us. It looks real dim right now, but if you can find a way to get better from this and find a way to win these games at the end of the games, we'll be where we want to at the end of the season.
Back with more news after this.
We're here to help.
Well, experts say the amount of uneaten and wasted food winding up in landfills is contributing to a whole slew of problems, from climate change to environmental pollution. But there is hope. Fox News correspondent Marianne Rafferty has more on how a group of scientists are transforming food garbage into medical gear.
1.6 billion tons. That's how much food is wasted every year around the world, according to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization. Experts say food waste goes beyond uneaten food. It also consists of the non-edible parts, like the peels, husks, seeds, and stems. And all this food waste is contributing to climate change by releasing more than 3 billion tons of CO2 into the atmosphere annually. But there could be a solution. Scientists in Singapore are helping to turn discarded food into medical gear.
So this project is about converting the durian husk into antimicrobial hydrogel-based bandages.
This is a durian, a popular fruit in many South Asian countries. Besides the delicious golden center, the rest of the fruit can't be eaten, resulting in millions of pounds of waste. But researchers have found they can extract cellulose, a chemical compound in the durian husk, and combine it with a substance called glycerol to create hydrogel bandages, which experts say can help wounds heal faster.
It's moist, so they would prevent the wound from drying up.
And it's not just durian. Scientists say soybeans and the leftover grains from making beer can also be turned into similar hydrogel bandages. Marianne Rafferty, Fox News.
Next, an updated list of what movies are now available to own at home. The DVD, digital, and music releases this week include a lawless horror sequel, a British comedy, and Grammy Award-winning singers. Here's Fox's Steve Rappaport with a list of new releases.
All crime, including murder, is now illegal.
Topping the list of what's new in home entertainment, The Forever Purge is the latest chapter in the lawless horror franchise. The fifth film features the members of the underground movement dissatisfied with the annual night of anarchy and murder and decide to go on an endless massacre.
Elvira?
Hello?
Dan Stevens and Judi Dench star in the British comedy Blythe Spirit. The film centers on an author suffering from writer's block who accidentally summons the spirit of his first wife when he seeks help from a spiritual medium.
Mr. Twist, what else can I call you? Oliver.
The British crime drama Twist is a modern-day take on Charles Dickens' 1838 novel Oliver Twist. It stars Michael Caine, Lena Headey, and Rita Ora.
Mondays, am I right, Joe? You said it, guy.
Available to own on digital, the sci-fi action comedy Free Guy features Ryan Reynolds playing a non-playable character in a video game trying to save his virtual world from being destroyed. The film will be available on 4K Ultra HD, Blu-ray, and DVD October 12th.
How much speed do you have left? Enough for a few hours.
From the small screens, the 7th season of the superhero series The Flash and the 1st season of the supernatural mystery drama Nancy Drew.
Love for sale.
For music fans, Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga released their Cole Porter tribute album Love for Sale, and Trying Not to Think About It is the new album from Grammy Award-winning singer-songwriter JoJo.
I was going off that night.
Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with a video of goats grazing on the loose in Atlanta. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.